Hello everyone and welcome to another math video. Today we're going to be looking at problems where they are going to give you a table that you have to fill out and then you have to put that table onto a graph. A reminder that this is the shortened version of this lesson. We're going to go pretty quick here. If you feel like you're struggling or you want the full length lesson where we sort of go step by step, I will link that in the description below. Before attempting this lesson, you should know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide with positives and negatives, or you need to have a calculator that can do it for you. You should also know how to graph. And so if you need refreshers on any of those topics, I will link them in the description below. All right, let's take a look at number one here. Number one says complete the table and then graph the function. So here is the rule they give us, y equals x plus 2, y equals x plus 2. And the first x that they give us is 0. So we're going to take that 0 and plug it in. 0 plus 2 is 2. And then we're going to repeat that process, right? Now we're going to take 1 and plug it in. 1 plus 2 is 3. And let's do the pattern one more time. Take the 2. We get 4. And hopefully we see the pattern here, right? As these go up by, these all go up by plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. These also go up by plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. Okay, so that would mean that this is 5 and this is 6. Now, what you do now is you graph your points. So the first coordinate that I see, 0, 2. 0, 2 on a graph is here, 0, 2. Then you graph your next point, 1, 3. Then you graph your next point, 2, 4. Then you graph your next point, 3, 5, 4, 6. And then we connect, as in hopefully you do a straighter line than I did, but here you have your graph. All right, let's take a look at this one. So, it has a nasty fraction, some positives and negatives, but the good news is we still follow the same process. So y equals, excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. y equals negative 1/2 x minus 6. Short reminder here, when you see this negative 1/2 right next to the x, there's an invisible multiplication symbol there. So now let's take the negative 10 and plug it in. Y equals negative 1/2 times negative 10 minus 6. PEMDAS, order of operations, GEMDAS, says you multiply first. So I do negative 1/2 times negative 10, which is 5 minus 6. 5 minus 6 is negative 1. Okay, and again, we repeat here. So now we take this negative 6, plug it in. Negative 1/2 times negative 6 is 3. 3 minus 6 is negative 3. Then we do the same thing with the 2. Negative 1/2 times 2 is negative 1 minus 6. Negative 1 minus 6 is negative 7. If you plug in the 6, you get negative 3 minus 6, which is negative 9. And for 8, you should get negative 10. Now, once you graph these, negative 10, negative 1 is here. Negative 6, negative 3 is here. 2, negative 7 is here. 6, negative 9 is here. 8, negative 10 is here. And again, connect, and you are done. All right, for this last table, you'll notice that the problem might look a little weird because there is no x, right? So how do you plug in these values that they give you? Well, the good news is you don't have to plug anything in because they told you y equals negative 10, right? Y equals negative 10, y equals negative 10, y equals negative 10. Okay? And so now we just graph this. Negative 8, negative 10 is here. Negative 1, negative 10 is here. 3, negative 10 is here. So you can see we've got this nice flat horizontal line. All right, here's our cool clock for today, which means that it is time for you to practice these types of problems on your own, go ahead and pause the video and see if you have figured these out. We will check your answers in just a second here. Okay, now that you had some time to work on these problems, let's check your solutions. For the first one, when you plugged in -7, 8/7 times -7 minus 1, this gives me -8 minus 1, so this should have been -9. This is -1. This is 7. And so when you graph this, -7, -9 is here. 0, -1 is here. 7, 7 is here. Connect the dots, and there you have it. For the second problem, y is 1. And so when you graph this, -10, 1, -8, 1, -6, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, and you have your horizontal line again. All right, that is it for today. I hope you all have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.